Okay, this figure has 2 bases and no, this is not some bonus item. Why? I don't know.
A few moments later.
I think I get why there are 2 bases now. Hi everyone, welcome back. For today's video, I've got these 2 parcels which arrived in February and March, and I'll be opening them up in today's haul. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. First up, I have a box from H-Poi Taobao, a legit figure distributor from China which I like to use. Inside the box, I picked up the Kaiju 8 Hoshina Soshiro Nendoroids for about 280 renminbi each, which is around 40 USD each. And yes, I didn't just buy 1, nor 2. I bought 3 Nendoroids of this boy. I pre-ordered him almost instantly in June last year, and he was finally released in February this year. I actually saw him in Japan in January, but resisted and waited for my order from China to arrive. It took a while, but he finally came the following month in February. This Nendo is thankfully in the original box design, hence I'm planning to keep one of the box sealed for display. Opening one of the box up and taking out the blister package, here is the set of instructions which is quite detailed. It is very clear which parts I need to use to achieve the different poses. That is very useful. Taped to the back of this blister package is the packet with the base and other accessories. Inside, we have the usual base and extra neck joints, plus a bunch of extra hand parts in separate plastic packets. As for the main blister package, here are all the components that come with Hoshina. There are 2 extra face plates, an extra leg part, a face mask that looks really cool, Hoshina swords, another extra hand, and a book. That's quite a lot of parts for such a new Nendoroid. Not bad. For assembly, the first pose I want to try out for Hoshina is this cheeky one, which Hoshina always does. First up is to take apart Hoshina and remove all those plastic wrappings. Once that is done, next is to change the hand parts. With the hands in, I can put his torso and legs back together. Next up is the swords, which is in the holster since Hoshina is not fighting. Once that's done, I put the support pack on. Following that is to reattach Hoshina's head. Voila, the Hoshina cheeky pose is done. Last but not least is to set him up on the base. With that, cheeky Hoshina Nendoroid is fully assembled, and he is adorable. I think Hoshina has been translated into chibi form very accurately. His bob cut is a simple hairstyle, but the shading on this hair sculpt is amazing. Also, his beta suit sculpt is very well done. It's super detailed in chibi form with all the holsters attached. My main issue with this pose is that they don't have an extra faceplate with his toothy grin. It makes this cheeky pose incomplete. Regardless, I'm still happy with this Nendoroid, since I can now put the 2 cheeky detectives together. Maybe I can use Rumpo's big smiley face for Hoshina. That's an idea. Anyway, I'm not done with Hoshina yet. I have 3 Nendoroids after all. This time, I want to use a more complicated pose like this one. First up, with a taken apart Hoshina, I need to swap out the extra leg parts. Next is to change the arm parts. And for this pose, the instructions was very clear on which parts should be used. So I am pretty sure that what I have here is correct. Next is to attach the sword hoister onto the alternative leg part. Since Hoshina is holding his swords, the handles should be removed. Next is to attach the swords, and this simply slides into his hand. I'm a little bit worried that his hand would get scuffed because this is such a brute force method. Moving on, I want to change Hoshina faceplate to this serious look, with his eyes opened. The joints are not tight, so taking apart the hair and face was pretty easy. Before I reattach the head, I want to put on this cool looking face mask. It is not secured to the torso in any way, so I have to adjust it as I push Hoshina's head in. While doing so, I have to be careful not to scuff anything. Now, I can set Hoshina on the base. Okay, the last thing to do is move this removable hoister to the alternative leg part. It goes into this small hole on the side of his legs. With that, Beta Style Hoshina is fully assembled. And once again, this is so adorable. He is so serious, yet so chibi. I really love that Hoshina has all these extra parts to have him in this cool pose. The face mask is the best. I'm pretty sure I can use this for other Nendoroids too. I hope goodsmile will do a Nendoroid for Narumi as well. I would love to put these two squabbling boys together. Just don't make him look so derpy like the anime did. Please. Okay, another pose I wanted to do for Hoshina is turn him into a merman. Yes, random. A merman. For this, I need a Nendoroid doll body, which I happen to have. And putting Hoshina's head in, I now have a merman Hoshina. Yay! Purple is Hoshina's color, and I think this dark pearlescent blue suits him very well. However, the Nendoroid doll body I have seems to be too orange compared to Hoshina's skin color. I'm not sure if I can find one with the correct color. Oh wells. Regardless, as simple as this looks, the articulation this merman tail has is very fun. I can pose this in many ways. And I decided to go with this particular pose. It just makes him look so floaty. I also have a pink mermaid tail, and I'm definitely keeping this one for a pink Narumi if he ever gets made. Okay, moving back to the haul, here is box number 2. And this is from a random seller on Taobao with a fairly good rating. I don't usually take risks by trying non-reputable sellers on Taobao, but for this particular figure, I had no choice. She was pretty much sold out on all the usual platforms I use, like HPoy and Bilibili. Also, on Mercari, she went up in price, so I didn't want to try the Japan market. As such, I decided to take a little bit of risk and try the China market. And from there, I managed to find a shop which still had her in stock. This shop had the 3 silver crowns rating, which is good enough for me. For reference, HPoy and Bilibili have gold crowns as their rating. Opening this box up, here is the set of instructions which comes in Japanese as well as Chinese. Mine doesn't have an English translation, but that's okay. Assembly seems quite straightforward. For this figure, there are 2 blister packages. Opening up the smaller blister package first, I have a small white plastic base. As for the bigger blister package, I once again have a big white plastic base. Okay, this figure has 2 bases, and no, this is not some bonus item. Why? I don't know. Next, I have a plastic handcuff, followed by an extra faceplate. Last but not least is the figure of Eve herself, with all the plastic and foam protection. She looks so fragile and intricate. This is a beautiful figure. And that's all the components for this figure. Now, to set Eve up. For assembly, I just need to set her on the base. And she comes with 2 bases, which I don't know why, but I'm glad to have this smaller base. To be honest, AniGift did not need to give this bigger base. We all just needed a smaller base to put in our shelves. Well, at least we got a smaller base. Anyway, I'll first set her up on the base. Here is the smaller base which I will be using. It has a big plastic pack which looks pretty stable. This is indeed smaller than the bigger base. Plus, it has a diamond-shaped edge which looks nicer than the flat edge on the bigger base. I wonder who would use the bigger base. Anyway, under Eve's heels, there is one big hole to slot into the base. Only when this is positioned at the correct angle, Eve goes in pretty smoothly, so don't use too much force. Next is the optional faceplate. It has a smiling face which is very sweet. You need to remove the front hair piece to swap this out. But since I prefer the default face, I will not be changing this. So yay, one less step for assembly. Next are the handcuffs. And these handcuffs actually works. You can slide it apart to open the cuffs. It is fragile, so handle this with care. These little cuffs are to be attached onto Eve's arm like so. It doesn't seem to hang very naturally, but I guess it will do. With that, I have the 1/6 scale figure of Eve, illustrated by Rurudo and manufactured by AniGift, fully assembled. And this girl is stunning. I am so in love with her. I totally get why Rurudo's figures are so highly sought after now. Seeing this in person, she's just wow. Zooming into the figure, starting from the top. Eve's face is so beautiful. Her eyes are in a very lovely violet color, and it is very detailed. Plus, no matter which angle you look at her from, her face looks perfect. The 2D to 3D translation is done very well. As for her hair, the violet color very beautifully transitions to pink. Each strand is intricately sculpted and I love how it drapes over her wings. Even the way her hair is tied up looks so intricate. Plus the shading and highlights, it's just amazing. Moving down the figure, Eve is wearing a rather skimpy white suit. But as simple as it is, the details are also intricate here. The slight beige that peeks out from the suit makes it appear translucent. There are very slight creases that makes the fabric look realistic as well. Her belly is also very nicely sculpted. On the back, the shading of this white suit is better reflected. The paint job and sculpt of the details are just very neat. It's quite impressive for a figure, which I got for under 150 USD. Also, the wings are in a contrasting dark purple translucent color with very lovely lace patterns. This design and color combination is very aesthetic, a nice translation of Rurudo's art into figure form. Also nicely translated are her translucent stockings. That tint of beige reflecting a bit of skin color is very nicely painted with the pearlescent texture. The fabric folds with the garter belt is also a very nice detail. Her heels also have shading, something most scale figures don't have. As for the base, I think I get why there are two bases now. If you're using the smaller one like I am, be careful not to scratch it. The bottom of this base is flat and it is prone to scratches. I think I scuffed mine a little bit. As for the bigger base, it is not flat, so the bottom surface is not prone to scratches. Hence, if you plan to drag this figure around the table or place it on a rough surface, this bigger base would be ideal. All in all, I really love this figure of Eve. Now that I have this figure, I no longer need that expensive one by Pink Charm. In fact, I know there are a lot of other Rurudo figures coming out, but I think I'll just settle with this one. She's good enough for me. Although I do have that police one on pre-order, and she does look quite stunning, so I'm definitely going to keep that pre-order and put them together. I am so happy that I managed to pick this figure up at the original retail price. I can imagine her going up in the aftermarket. She is just stunning. Sure, she's not a cast-off, but the level of details on this one, amazing. So if you can still find this figure out there at the original retail price, I would highly recommend it. After all, I think AniGift has captured Rurudo's illustration very well. And that's all for today's haul video. I only have 2 items, but these are all I need for the month. Hoshina just makes my day, and this Eve is just eye candy for my eye. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this little haul. If you enjoyed what you saw, do leave a like and subscribe with notifications to stay tuned to more videos. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye!